you go.
Wonderful. We can connect across the
Yes.
globe. Thank you for joining. Great to see
Thank you
you.
for having me. Great to see you
Yeah,
too.
good, good. We'll wait for a couple more people to come on. And
Right.
so how are things in India?
Well, things in India are just as how everywhere else in the world are. There's
Yeah,
nothing better here, so to say.
right, right. So
How's it in New York?
New York is going well. I would say it's stable. We're waiting for a lot of people getting back with school, coming back from holidays. And I would say, I think our next kind of check to understand how things are will be after Labor Day, because that's, our next kind of threshold. So,
Right.
yeah, great, good. So I wanted to introduce you then. Thank you for joining. We've been in touch over the years, and it's wonderful to see so much that you're working on now. So we have joining us from India. And where exactly are you in India?
So, Bangalore,
You're in
Bangalore,
Bangalore. Okay.
yes, south of India. Have you been here?
I have been to India, but I have not been to Bangalore. So
Okay.
I've been more in the northern part of India.
To
So
Delhi, Delhi, I'm
yes.
guessing.
Right. Yes, exactly. So Nia Chelly is joining us. She's with Blue Hema, and she also has Nisi Jean that she recently launched, and wanted to get an update on what you're working on, some of your projects. And I think you've been doing a lot of interesting things during this time. So tell us a little bit more about what you're working on.
Sure. Uh, so January was the time when, so I'll start with the brand, which is the latest project that I'm working on. Nese stands for necessary, and it stands for buying mindfully and need-based. And it's a 100% sustainable brand made out of denim industry waste. So I've collaborated with Arvind Mills for this, and whatever waste the denim industry is creating, that waste, I can't use the whole of it, but a little bit of that waste is segregated very aesthetically to create beautiful garments out of it. And those products are a part of Nese Jeans line. So Nese Jean is all about, using all the waste and not letting it go to the landfills, not letting it go to the burnings. So yeah, using it as much as possible in the most aesthetic way. So for us, design comes first. So what I always say is, when the customer buys Nese Jean, that is whenever the product, they should first fall in love with the design and fall in love with, the fabrics and whatever the silhouettes are, how the design really looks. And then when they know that this also happens to be made from all the waste and there is just no new raw material which is getting used in the making of it, then it's like a cherry on top of cake. I mean, it can't get better than that, it is a good design and then it is sustainable also in the end. So yeah, that is what the brand is all about.
Wonderful. What a great project. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about your background though, and how you got to working together with Arvind. We've worked together over a couple of different projects. And how
Yes.
how did you come to what you're doing now, and how did that collaboration happen?
So I've been in the denim industry for almost 15 years now, and Urban Mills was one of my first jobs. I mean, I worked there as a designer back in 2006. So it was actually my second job. The first job only lasted for a couple of months, and there I realized that denim is the fabric which I have a call and I loved in the I fell in love with it in terms of how it is created and all the washing process and the silhouette design. I worked with Bershka, Ben Sherman, Gap, Marks and Spencer, Zara, and all the brands indirectly with Arvind, and had a lot of meetings with them. I used to come to US for almost 10 times in a year when I was working in Arvind. So having worked there, and after that I worked with some other companies launching their denim labels. I started my research and design and research consultancy specialized in denim back in 2013. where so this company is called Bluehemia, and Bluehemia does a lot of work in terms of denim design and research for a lot of clients, which are, either they are the big mills like Arvind Mills, or brands of India who are looking for that denim expertise. So as companies, a lot of people have their own designers, but they somehow do not have a denim expertise, somebody who knows from fiber to how the indigo is really made. So then they come to us, where the denim is researched in and out, and we provide like end-to-end solutions, from fiber to from yarn design, from fabric design, and from garment design to collection making to photo shoots to even website development. So everything that covers the whole spectrum of denim, and denim branding, all those things, trim design, packaging design, everything. So Bluehemia does that. And one of our one of the clients we've been working with is Arvind Mills. So last 8 years, it's been great working with Arvind Mills, and I could not find anybody else apart from Arvind Mills for Nasegene, because we've had such a great relation. And being in the industry, I know that how much ever sustainable a company is, there would always be some waste, and how a company can take their sustainability to another level by collaborating with a brand like this. So that was the whole
Right.
reason why I approached Arvind Mills, and it kind of fell all in a good place.
That's wonderful. Yeah, no, you're right. To have that full understanding of denim and looking at from fiber all the way to finish is so important. And it's not necessarily a skill that you can find easily in the industry. So I think that's wonderful that you're able to collaborate with Arvind. I mean, Arvind also offers a wide variety of fabrics, right? From lighter weights to
Yes.
heavier weights too. So it gives you that flexibility that you need in some of your designs, right?
Yes, yes. So Arvind has a variety of fabrics, and that's what I jokingly say sometimes, that even your waist is so beautiful. So they
Yeah.
have fabrics which are, they have these natural indigo khadis, which I fell in love with, and we made a little bit of a small project also on that. They have these beautiful natural indigo selvages. They have some of the ikat denims. I mean, uh, when it comes to the research and design, Arvind's fabrics are really beautiful. So working on some of those wastes, carefully segregating the shades and creating a line out of it is almost like a dream. And hopefully it'll come true when the factories start to open here. It's not yet fully operational. So I'm looking at October, November for the Nasegene launch, the physical collection.
Okay. So tell us what you've been working on though with Nasegene so far, because you had a digital launch a couple of weeks ago, and
Yes.
you're trying to kind of bring together fashion, innovation, technology, digital side, as well as, of course, sustainability because of the upcycling that you're doing.
Right.
How is that all coming together?
So I mean, Helsinki Fashion Week is one of the most sustainable fashion weeks of the world. They incorporate sustainability at all levels, whether it is choosing the right talent for participation, whether it is having the fashion show with minimal light, or having the most sustainable. Uh, uh, it's like it's for them, sustainability is like one of the pillars, and they go, and it's like a filter for them. They would use that for everything that they're doing. So back in January, Nasegene got selected as one of the sustainable designers for Helsinki Fashion Week. And while we were all set to, make our collections and get ready for the physical fashion show at Helsinki, which was happening in August first week, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So the whole show got converted into a digital format. And it was interesting to see that this digital fashion show was one of the world's first show where the models were created on Clo 3D, on a software called Clo 3D. The garments were created on Clo 3D, the environments, the music, every single thing in the fashion show was digitally made. So normally when we see like London Fashion Week or other fashion weeks who are, calling themselves digital, it's not really 100% digital, where you see the models are, coming on the Instagram live feed and, all those things. It is not fully digital. But Helsinki Fashion Week took it a step ahead and, challenged themselves by making it all 100% digital, which is great, because it was an absolutely new thing, a new era to get into. And uh, it's funny, but Nese Jeans digital collection is all available for sale. So it's available on digitalvillage.io, which also happens to be a platform from Helsinki Fashion Week. The digital collection, it's a very niche concept, but the funny thing is that you can actually wear the digital clothes without feeling it. It's a file that if you buy the piece, you just like any other e-commerce, you go there and buy the piece. That after you buy it, you will get a file on your mail, and what you have to do is you have to send your photograph or a video, and you can actually wear the garment in a digital space and share it on social media or wherever you feel like. So it's a concept
Amazing.
that it's absurd at the same time. I mean, I wasn't aware about it all this while, but now that I know, it's like, so I've got some orders from gaming industries where they would want their CGI models to be dressed in Nese Jeans digital collection, and some orders have come from friends, and so yeah, digital collection is all up there, and physical collection has still some time to come out.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the gaming industry. I was actually thinking more about influencers because when you
Yeah.
consider, and my daughter loves Instagram. So whenever, and she's always like, she needs a new outfit to get another picture on Instagram. And I see this as such, a wasteful way of looking at things. So how do you think that could also work digital fashion for influencers then?
I think right now the concept is so new that I don't even know if influencers of the world really know about it. I mean, if they do come to know about it, and if it's like a trend, if it does catch on, then I think it's a very, very sustainable thing. You do not buy a garment, you just buy a file, you wear it, and
Yeah.
you flaunt it on a video which absolutely looks real in your own garden, in your own living room. You wear wear like a couture jacket. It is actually called cyber couture. You wear that, and you don't have to spend money on it. There is no landfill, there is no pollution caused by it, there is no material used. So it's an absolutely great thing if people do come to know about it. The
Yeah.
problem is it's so niche, it's so new that people don't know about it. So
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
it has to still catch on.
Yeah. And then how is the pricing model for this? Because you're still involved in the design. You still have to have the concept, and obviously you need graphic people to put it all together. So what's the costing model then for digital fashion?
So for us, because I mean, for the whole world, because it's like an ecosystem that is being created, there is really no benchmark to look at for the pricing, but we did put a cost which was between 100 to 200 euros. So it's an absolutely, it's a concept which nobody knows about it, so we don't even know that whether people are going to buy it at this price. So yeah, there is a lot of effort that goes in making a digital garment on Cloth 3D. I mean, there are a lot of people involved, and you make a video and it looks so real. All the garments that are put on the Nese Jeans Instagram feed, they're all digitally made. It looks real, but it's all digitally made. So the costing right now, because there is no benchmark, there's like no way to look at whether it is correct or not. It's between 100 and 200 euros.
Okay. Yeah, I'd seen some others earlier on during this period that were also, over $1,000 for a digital dress, and they were trying to make them limited, that they wouldn't be selling
Right,
it everywhere.
right.
For you as a trained designer, and you're used to the physical, how do you find this working in a more digital world, like that tangible side of, feeling the fabrics and the details of the stitches? How do you feel that's all being translated digitally?
So honestly, if you ask me, I've had enough of digital now, and I can't wait to see the physical
Yeah,
garments already.
yeah, yeah,
And it's a different feeling to actually go touch the fabrics and have it draped with your own hands on the mannequin and on the body forms, and seeing the silhouette correctly, seeing the fall of it, looking at the SPIs of the stitch, and looking at the close details. So for me, physical garment definitely wins over the digital ones.
yeah,
But the same time, I think it's a very new concept, and I'd love to see it catch on, mainly because if influencers, as you said, if influencers or even the regular people, if the prices do come down to, for, regular people to buy, I think it is a great concept, because then you really don't need to buy every second garment just to flaunt on social media. So you
Exactly.
buy these digital garments and then you're like all set. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a great idea, but honestly, for me, physical wins the race.
Yeah, there's still something about that. And especially for denim, it's
Yeah,
so much is
absolutely.
involved in the art and craft of it. Um,
Right.
so some of the other areas that you see might develop then with digital, where do you see that going for fashion? I mean, now that we have to connect more digitally, do you see other opportunities that we could reduce our waste and work more digitally? Maybe it's only parts of development.
Right. I think digital is like a very, very it's like a vast ocean, one needs to find opportunities to get plunged into it and find ways how sustainability can be taken at another level. I'll give you a small example. Like, for example, in jewelry industry, uh, like any other industry, there is a lot of waste, and there is a lot of when they are trying out how to make, gold earrings or gold necklaces, there is a lot of waste that happens, and it's not nature friendly. So what do? I think the right format, they make hundreds of samples before making the final product. But when you work on a software like Flow 3D, you can actually make the product so real. I mean, it just looks like you've taken a picture of the real product. And when you do that, you cut out on all the sampling, you cut out on all the, back and forth of sending the product and couriers, and, a lot of things which are getting wasted in the sample making process. You make one file on the Flow 3D, you show it to the customer in real time, and there you can make an order based on that. Because Flow 3D, like the software that is, it works so well with, small accessories. I think for denim as well, like when we are trying out fits, when we are trying out, when we started working with Helsinki Fashion Week 3D designers based in Europe, we sent out our patterns to them. So all the jeans, all the jackets, we sent out the real patterns to them, and that got draped on the CGI models, the digital models. So the same way you can check the fit, you can check how it is going to look, how the wash is going to come out by first converting it in Flow 3D and then finally making the product. So the digital way, there are a lot of ways you can cut down on a lot of back and forth which happens in our industry.
For sure. And I think that's one thing we've been forced globally to figure out, right? When I talk to designers here who can't be involved in physical fittings, how they can, maneuver with digital tools in order to still achieve, the outcome that they need. So I think, it's a great world experiment that we have right now in figuring this out, and, how you can mix both together and save time, save money, save, from the waste. And I think that's a big part of what we'll see in changes going forward. Yeah.
Right.
You also work on some other projects, a lot around mentorship and empowerment for women. Can you tell us more about what you're working on there and working with students?
Right. So, with mentorship, I go to a lot of design colleges here in India, and take mentorship in terms of teaching them about design, about denim, if anybody is interested in that specific area, and about sustainability, and how do we, how do we consider ourselves responsible and not the globe or global warming,
Mhm.
just touching points on those things. And I also go to, like, it happens half yearly, I also go to some institutes where the yearly fees is less than $30.
Wow.
So these women are so talented, and the ideas that they bring to the table, the ambitions, it's just so nice to hear their stories, to listen to what they have to say about design, and how do they want to start their entrepreneur journey, or how do they want to get into a company and work there. It's very interesting to see. Unfortunately, I'm missing out on all of that, because they don't have a lot of access to online learning and online webinars and all those things. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing to reach out to these students, to these girls, to and learn from them more than teaching them. I mean, coming from that background and learning from what kind of ambitions they have, and how do they want to change the world in their own way. It's really, really great to see. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I find a lot of energy out of the youth, out of Gen Z. And we did a talk on Carved in Blue as a part of our Denim Think Tank with Gen Z, and it's amazing their view globally, how they want to be involved in changing the world,
Yes,
and everything around purpose that I don't feel that I understood when I was their age. And I think,
absolutely.
they grew up with a phone in their hand, and Instagram, was always their way of connecting. So I find it very reassuring too with this younger generation. But in India, I know how it's set up more with schools in the US and Europe. How does it work in India? So you're saying some schools are even as low as, $30 to, or whatever currency, to go to. Like, how are the schools set up, and is there a way to sort of connect them somehow, or how does that work?
So for me, I was fortunate enough to be approached by one of the directors of these schools. So this one school is called Quest Alliance. It's after grade 2. I mean, it's after grade 12. It's called like the college here. And there, people from a little unfortunate backgrounds, they come and they learn whether it is about design. So life skills are basically taught there. So it's, a little bit of design and a little bit of I think the other areas are if they want to get into a particular kind of a language learning. So Quest Alliance provides all that, and with their design program they called me as a mentor, as a facilitator, to tell them about what design is really about, how does the industry work, and what do you expect when you come to workplace, and if there are any internships available for them, and just listening to their ideas and kind of giving them the right direction. So there are a lot of colleges and schools I go to, like NIFT is one of those schools which are the famous fashion colleges in India. I go there as a mentor, and but my experience at Quest Alliance stands at a different level. So it's as a whole, it's a very fulfilling job to be able to help in any way to these, for these kids, for these
Yeah.
students.
And do you see an opportunity for something like a Transformers Ed to sort of work with the students and to educate, and use a way now that, again, if you can connect digitally, do you see any opportunities of an East-West connection somehow?
Um, I think for the students at Quest Alliance, I think that will be a little too far-fetched an idea, because they are still learning about, how the industry works. But I do see that a connect from a little more affluent colleges here with, what you're saying, the Transformers Ed. I think there could be a connect when, students come and learn about this journey, and they, I think in the current age, they're already really mindful. I remember my sustainable journey, so to say, started about 5 years back only. I mean, it's not like I've been sustainable and very mindful of my choices like from I don't know what age. But just 5 years back, I remember, I think that was like the last time I kind of bought from a fast fashion, and then
Yeah.
I realized that hey, this is not something which is good to the planet, and we got to rethink. And especially working in the denim industry, which is not so nature friendly any which way, it's kind of notorious that way. I
Mm.
realized that my design and the work that I do for the clients, and there are some brands that I developed for some other companies here, they were not really sustainable, and how they were not using the right raw material, how the wages were not in the the way they should be, and the whole system. So I kind of even at Bluhemia, we started working in a more sustainable way and choosing our clients that way.
Right.
And of course, looking at the denim industry and the fact that they are predominantly how unfriendly, nature unfriendly they are, we started this brand just to. And the good choice that I made was already a very sustainable company, Urban Mills, which anyway is doing so much there. When I learned about, I got a little more deeper in what they are doing after them. I learned about how they're using zero fresh water in every single thing, every garment making, washes, all the yarns, all the the whole fabric making. Zero fresh water is what they're using.
Yeah.
So it's like a great learning and just getting deeper into the layers into this journey.
Right. Yeah, no, amazing. And then do the schools connect back with industry like that? Do the schools work with, say, Arvin to understand more of the benefits of what they're doing?
Yes. So students who join for internships,
Okay.
so they learn in whatever. So in denim also, it's it's so many stages. Somebody wants to learn about how the fabric is made and what could we do to interesting to the fabric, jacquards, and there is so much that can be done in there. And then somebody wants to get into like a wash expertise, so they are fully trained from fiber to the shelf, I mean, to the final garment and how it is branded and everything, and then they choose what they really want to get into, even in denim.
Okay.
So yeah, so yeah, there is a lot of involvement from the students towards to the companies. So we have a lot of opportunities for internships and jobs.
Great. That's wonderful. It's I haven't really thought about how the schools work then in other regions. And as you're saying, it's great the mentorship that you can provide. I know I always get a lot out of visiting schools and talking with them. And even if it's only right now through Zoom that we can do it. And I always tell the students, connect with me on LinkedIn afterwards. And some of them, are great about connecting and then figuring out where they need to be in the future in the industry. So it's wonderful.
Right, right, I'm sure.
Yeah. So during this time, I think we've all been facing a lot of changes. What do you see that will come out of this time that you want to take forward with you? I mean, you've been working on these digital projects, trying to continue your mentorship. What else do you see will evolve out of this time?
So I think to look at it in two ways. One is the personal growth. I mean, just last year, Tricia, if you remember, we met face to face at the Denim Days and the Kingpins, and
Yeah,
nobody would have thought that next year we'd be talking digitally like this,
I know.
only thanks to COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
So personal growth wise, I think we've learned how to live frugally and to live with whatever is available with us without going out and buying mindlessly, and to something which is, we have to look at what is really really needed now. So that is one aspect which I think we've all grown in when it comes to personally, I mean, personal growth. So less traveling and less buying and just spending more time at home and realizing and getting deeper into the layers, as I always say. So for me, getting deeper into the journey of learning and design and reading has been I think leaps and bounds when it came to just being at home and working from home. Because at office, you're like even working with tailors and you're working with clients. So there is just no time for your own personal time, personal
Right.
growth. So
Yeah.
I think COVID has brought that in when it, this is something which I'll be taking forward to. I've kind of taken, this learning from COVID time, that you got to take out time for yourself. You got to take out time for your own personal learning. So
Yes.
this is a very important thing for me. And work wise, I think working digitally is again something. So I started to learn Clo 3D software, where again, as I said, everything is converted digitally. So I think that will be something which I'll be working with a lot for our clients going forward, and cutting down a lot on the sampling and the couriers and all those things. So yeah,
Right.
both work wise and on the personal front, it
Yeah.
has helped me.
I agree with
What
you.
about you?
It's well, I think for me, I agree, this chance to kind of slow down a little bit. And I was feeling the other day, should I be packing a suitcase to go? September is always sort of a kickoff month of going to Europe and being at shows, and I do miss that part. But I think it's also given me a chance to sort of reflect on the priorities. Certainly, I've had more time with my family, and even as the kids are going back to school now, when we were saying, it was lovely to have family dinner time again. We had kind of forgotten all of that, and this chance to slow down. I think also for me, I've spent more time with nature, which has been very good. this spring watching it kind of happen before my eyes because I wasn't going anywhere. And my desk window actually happens to look out in the backyard where I could see, you know, the trees changing and green happening. So I've really enjoyed this time to be outside, even working out outside, going for walks. Previously, I always feel like, oh, I was going to a gym or you do this and, you know, yoga studios, all of that, they're closed. So being able to be outside more has been very good. And you know, I think it's just given us a chance to reevaluate what the priorities are. We all said we
Yeah,
were busy, 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 but what are really the priorities? And I
right.
think that's most important out of this time. And also globally, I've been able to connect with more people when we've all been in one spot. Like this is wonderful, and
Right.
you're also
Right.
a part of our Headspace series, and you know other you know denim affiliates around the world. It's been wonderful to connect and
Right.
even meet new people during this time. It's been good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. This is one point which I wanted to highlight on to. The other day, I was having a chat with Annie from
Okay.
Simply.
Yeah.
Right. And we just, you know, we happened to chat on mail once, and then she's like, how about we get on a call? And then we were having like a good chat for about an hour, and we were just discussing things here and there. And I also invited her to come to India, and we could visit the factories together, taking
Yeah.
her sustainability goals to another level.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's really nice that way that we are able to connect to a lot of people in the industry, have hearty chats, and you know, it's good that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely. Well, thank you for filling us in on what you've been working on. And for everyone, keep an eye on Nisi Jeans. It's a great project. I'll be looking forward to seeing how it evolves this fall. And will we all be buying our next digital outfit at some point? We'll see. But for now, we're going to sign off. This is our coned salvage denim made out of Tencel. And so we like our little mini jean to sign off with. So thank you so much for
Yes.
joining me
Thank you
today.
so
Wonderful to
much. Thank you
connect.
so much. Take
Okay.
care.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.